Welcome to The Spectacular Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Spectacular Show. My name is David Specht, and I'm here with Ryan Paul Johnson with a spectacular team. Ryan.
David.
We're on, buddy. It is good to have you back. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. I'm happy to be on our podcast.
Yeah, our show.
Our show.
It's more of a show than a podcast.
Happy to be on our show.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about all kinds of things, right? You've said some things over the last couple of weeks we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what you're doing for fun.
Okay.
What we're doing for fun. What we're doing to generate business. What things are scary. We've all done things that are, you're a stand-up comedian. I do comedy. We met doing comedy, and we do real estate. We've done hard stuff. So we're going to do a little, talk about it, buddy.
Sounds great, man.
All right. Yeah. So Ryan Paul Johnson. Paul Johnson.
Okay, David Specht.
You broke your neck about 20 years ago.
23.
People know that, right? People know you broke your neck.
Some people do. Yeah.
And there's, you talk about it in your stand-up and all that. So if you want to hear the story, follow Ryan. He does a great job explaining it. But you got something super exciting coming up where you actually broke your neck skiing, snowboarding.
Yep.
And in a couple of weeks, you're going back snowboarding.
I am. I'm actually this week. This week, Sunday.
You're going snowboarding.
Yep.
What is the program that you're doing that with?
I'm going with High Country Adaptive Sports.
Wow.
Yes.
And do they, okay. And it's not, do they know that's how you broke your neck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep,
they know. That is, I'm coming back after a long hiatus.
But it's for other people who cannot normally ski to ski, but they don't necessarily they haven't been injured skiing.
Not everybody. No.
Some of them have?
Yeah, some of them.
You're not some unique. That's what I want to picture is like you back on the mountain. And they're like, oh no, this is.
Yeah, I don't know. People, I've waited, 23 years to go back and do it. I have a lot of friends who broke their backs, necks, snowboarding, skiing and stuff, and they haven't waited as long.
Wow, they go back to it? I just find that.
Back to it.
I find that, inspirational and also, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing to go back and do. I was like, does that group specifically, cater to folks who broke their necks skiing, or is it just, someone who might be otherwise, challenged also skiing?
It's just adapted for anybody with any physical disability so they can get out and ski.
But you just so happen to be, that's also how you got terribly injured.
Yeah. There is actually an organization who works specifically with athletes who were injured to get them back doing the thing.
I want to start a group that's you get back doing the thing that horribly injured you.
Yeah.
You have to do that thing. Like if it was a bear attack, you're like, well, we're going to go camping.
Yeah.
Or it was, I don't know. I just, I admire that. I can't believe you're going skiing. I think it's so good. And then you said you're going up to somewhere a little more exotic skiing too.
And then I'm going to Whitefish, Montana.
Okay.
And I'm skiing with the Dream Adaptive Program up there. So it's another adaptive program. Yep.
Very cool, man.
Yes.
Very good. How you staying balanced, buddy? Are you, I have this triangle in my head of like, there's like mental health, there's financial health, and then there's physical health. You feel one that like is the most challenging to get going?
Out of
the three?
I always feel like I'm buried. Like I just feel like I'm.
But that's everybody.
Drinking from a fire hose.
But that's what I mean. Like, is there one that you specifically can center around?
What are they again?
Okay. Well, these are just mine. And I think all other challenges fall under these. I've heard there's 5 or 6 or 7, but I always think it's like mental health, financial health, and physical health. Like one of them is like traditionally always suffering.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always suffering in all of those. Yeah.
Ryan, you're not answering the question.
I know, but none of yeah, I probably
let me ask an easier question.
I'll focus on my physical health more, and then I feel like that will then motivate the other areas.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody feels the way you just said.
Yeah.
They're just like, you wake up and you're like, everything is achy, right? Your money, your brain, your body, your blah, blah, blah. And that's with everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way, where if I'm physically lazy, the rest is lazy or the rest is challenged.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And I usually feel the worst on the days I don't work out or move my body. Those are usually the days I'm like, ugh.
All right, let's take that a step further back. If you, let's say you got lazy for a week or two. Okay. That happens, right?
Oh yeah.
What's the easiest thing you do? What do you do to go like, okay, I'm not getting in shape, but I'm going to start again. What's your like, do you go, is it a walk? Is it a straight up workout?
Yeah, I train with a guy. And so if I'm not, it's just show back up for Uzor. That's like
show up for him.
Show up for him.
So you put it on him. It's his burden. It's his problem. No, he's the savior.
Yeah, he's there. I just know if I'm not doing it, that he's there waiting, and he's always there. And I just need to show up and
for him. Okay, so you have a private like training situation?
Yep.
So when you don't go, are you missing out? Are you skipping him?
He does. Well, that's the problem, or not problem, whatever. He does group fitness in the space.
So it's a group spot.
So it's like anyone can show up between 5:30 and 10:30, and he'll train you.
Got it.
So sometimes I'm the only one there. Sometimes there's like 3 or 4 people there. But because it's not like appointment specific.
Okay, so you can skip it.
I skip. Yeah, I shouldn't skip, but
no.
Like
but it's easier to skip knowing that he's doing it anyway.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Got it. All right, cool.
So whenever I'm like, hey, I'm going to come, and then I don't show up, I don't do that.
So you got to get back in the group class. All right, cool. Yeah. Mine's like, I don't even know. I don't know my answer. Mine is simply walk into the gym. That's the big thing, is like cross the threshold. I know what to do once I get in there. Sometimes there was a time where my gym put in the massage chairs. Yeah. And I was feeling real lazy and kind of bummed out, Yeah. And for about 3 weeks, my wife would go work out like crazy. She's in great shape. And I would go sit in a massage chair with a towel over my face for 2 hours.
It sounds nice.
Which is the mental health, right? I think that's the mental health part. I'm like, I'm just resting, and I was staying up, and I wasn't getting great sleep, and I was worried all the time. I don't know. I think everyone goes through that, but they see us as superhero dynamos. They can't imagine we struggle.
The workout thing is also like, it makes me feel like really good about myself in general. Like, you did it, like that's like a mental. So getting the workout out of the way is kind of like, it checks a box that makes my emotional health like
right. So your emotional / mental health just naturally goes up because your physical health did. And then you're like, well, what else can I do? I'm going to eat better because I just worked out. What am I going to do? Scarf a donut? I'm not a big like.
I'm not that guy.
You're not?
No, I'm like, I need a donut after I work out.
I can't waste it. No, I just worked out this morning, and then I went protein shake. I was like, oh, if I just did protein shake, I wouldn't have to work out. But if I didn't work out, I would eat garbage. So I don't know. It's a balance. It's fun to like talk about that with people, I think.
Yeah. It's hard for me to eat in general. Like, I just don't feel hungry ever. And so I lean into junk food. And that's something that happens with spinal cord injuries.
Is that right?
Well, I don't know.
You eat and eat?
Or
do you lose your appetite?
Lose your appetite and eat lots of candy and junk food.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow, and you stay so freaking trim. It's disgusting.
Well, I don't know.
I'm
not in great shape. I'm just...
but you're thin.
I'm thin.
I mean, that's huge. Thin is great. All right, buddy. You did something the other day too, and I don't know if you know this, but you have a nice job of like philosophizing things, and I think you do know that. But so something will happen, and you're like, okay. Like you like to figure things out. Do you know you do that?
Oh yeah. Well, yes, because the thing will happen or whatever it is.
So you're doing it right now. You're like explaining. You're zooming out right now. This is Ryan right here, and this is like the magic of. It's not like fatherly advice, but it's like wisdom. I don't think probably you were always like this. Were you?
Oh, I think it was probably a thing I like aspired to.
You zoom out. You're like, okay, but it's this. Somebody told me, they had this problem, and they're like, well, maybe it's better. And then you have this like philosophical like idea about. No, I was just saying this little tiny thing. You're like,
I do know where it came from. Where it comes from.
There you go.
And it was getting my master's degree. So I have a master's of divinity.
Yep. My dad used to make divinity on Christmas.
Do
you know that's the name of a candy?
No.
He's a master of divinity himself, my friend. He would give away tubs, country crock tubs full of homemade divinity.
Yeah, he's a real master.
Yeah. You got your master in divinity, and so did my dad. All right.
But part of that is like, you're mostly learning how to like dissect arguments. or like what are the underlying presuppositions of these things?
Oh, I
and
see.
so it was a habit I've developed.
Yeah.
It's
You
just
do.
like-
You do like to, you're not like, I want to solve this right away. You're like, I want to mentally tinker. And
Yeah.
I need to zoom. I say zoom out. Maybe that's not the thing you do, but I think it's always like, it's never this whole thing. And I think that's a lot of life is like, you think it's this, someone's grumpy and you're like, oh, that person is grumpy. I got to fix the grumpy. It's like, well, they're not grumpy.
Yeah,
This whole thing is going on.
They're hungry.
Hungry
That's what it
or
is.
bummed out from yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway,
No, I do love doing that. But I think it's just something my brain does. Like when we went and saw Rob Schneider perform.
right.
And then my brain, I was just like, for at least a week, I was thinking about it. And then I was like, oh, like I just kind
You
of.
did. You're like, why is he the way he is? Because you think he's going to be a certain way when you see him live, a goofball, and then he comes across just, I don't know, jaded or something.
Yeah.
And you kind of figured it out. I don't want to go into your supposition of him, but it just was surprising to me. You go, oh, I can't believe he's not leaning into this like guy we think we know. And he's not.
Right.
And it happens, it's pervasive, I think, in comedy too, where you go, what are you doing? We just saw it with Matt Rife just implode.
Yeah.
He imploded on him.
What are you doing?
We could do a whole thing about that, but I don't.
I don't know anything about that.
You don't?
Nope. I'll have to YouTube it.
And then you'll figure it out and spend an hour.
Right, yeah.
10 days. Oh,
Explain to you what his real problem is.
I don't think it would take a lot to diagnose what's going on with him. But yeah. Anyway. All right. Here's another thing you did.
Okay.
You got a lot of impact. I don't know if you know this. This is good. I don't know what's going on right now.
No,
you know what else you do, Ryan?
Tell
That's
me.
great.
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so good right now.
You taught me, well, this is more me. I try to find life lessons in nonsense, not nonsense, but I try to think of a bigger lesson. And you didn't teach a life lesson. You just go, oh, this is the thing. So I found a little crack. It's not a foundational crack, I found out, but in my house, there's it's called spalling, I believe, in the stem wall. And the stem wall is just what comes up, from the foundation that leads into, where your drywall is, right? That's kind of what we're talking about. So there's a little bit of a crack, a fissure in there. It's not like your house is going to fall down, but I didn't know that. Right. And I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. And then you said you could just deal with this little tiny problem now.
Yep.
Or
you wait till you're going to sell the house in like 10 years. And then it's like a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So handling that little problem. And then I was like, gosh, and I already knew it, right? If you nip it in the bud, that's the whole thing, right?
Oh, right.
Yep. You can spend a little bit of money, which it's going to be, Ryan, like $3,000. But in the grand scheme of what could go wrong,
It's probably better
spending 3 now or 50 later.
Well, exactly. Because we had that one. We just tried to sell that house.
Yep.
They're like, there's a foundation thing. And then we had the foundation guy out to look at it. And he's like, this whole house needs a foundation.
It's the whole house.
So,
yeah. And mine's not that. And,
Right.
it's never going to be that. But it was like, oh, and then you said, oh, it was like this wise Ryan came out here. Oh, if you just take care of this little problem now, you won't have a big problem later.
Yep. That is
You philosophized
so
on me.
true. That's most housing.
It is most housing.
issues.
And there are a lot of things that I've noticed, and you probably noticed this too, when somebody sells their house, and you told me about this before I was even an agent with you, is like people will step over problems in their house.
Yep.
That will make their life so much easier, and they'll like their house more, but they don't fix it until they sell
Oh my
it for the
gosh.
next person.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So
It is.
what's
Yeah.
at your house that you're like, oh, I could have done this?
What is there? I don't know. It's like, it's all the weird little nitpicky detaily things.
Yep.
But I don't think there's anything big at the house right now.
You don't like
that would
step
make-
over it, but you are blind to it. But somebody that visits your house is like, oh, did you
It's
notice
the
this
only-
switch is all wiggly? Or did you notice this? It's always something just benign. And you go, how come why didn't I do that? So I put this poll on Instagram, like, what's something at your house that's not a big deal? And the only person that responded was my wife.
Oh my God.
She goes, under the sink is a mess. Because we had this, it wasn't like, what was it?
A leak?
It wasn't really a leak. It was more I think the RO system failed and like the bladder emptied itself under the sink. So it wasn't like a continuous problem, but it was a pool of water, right?
Right,
And we just didn't notice it because it wasn't a ton of water. And then it just rotted away.
Yes.
Just the front board of under the sink.
Right, yep.
Just that. I mean, we toweled it up and everything, but that was like, ugh. And I removed it, but I never put another one in there. So you can like see under our sink just this little thing. And I saw it today and I'm blind to it. So it would take nothing to fix it. It's not an issue.
It would take, I don't know. It's always the thing is it would take enough that it doesn't, it doesn't really affect, well, this is what I do. It's like, oh, this isn't really affecting my life, So I'm just fine.
Yeah, I know. I should just fix it though.
Doing over it. Yep.
I should fix it.
All right. It would make your wife happy. Are we saying your wife's names on these things?
No. Well, that's not even no, I don't think so. She'll be a guest though. I mean, or maybe a co-host. I don't know. We'll see how it goes tonight. There's a third chair. All right. But yeah, she and me too. I don't know. I just step over that stuff and it bothers me that I step over it. Not just her, but all right. So you got any holiday traditions that you do that not everybody does? Got anything that you do? Holidays are coming up. I don't know when we're going to publish this, but the holiday season is upon us. Anything coming up?
Nothing pops. Would you have one? I can't think of anything that.
Oh, a tradition. Okay, for the first several years of my kids' lives, I would say we would make cookies on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. We'd have all the family over and make cookies. And then I would have eggnog. I liked eggnog and nobody else did. This isn't even a tradition. This is something that's happened. I would go, anybody want eggnog? And it would be dead silent. I go, okay. It was just a thing that I would do. But now the kids like eggnog and, they drink the eggnog. That's not a tradition at all. But we have a couple of streets we go look at that are, full of lights. And we do that every year.
That's fun.
The kids have I don't know, maybe outgrown it. Kind of getting to the point, but they like it still, which is the best, I think. That's when it becomes tradition, not just the thing you want to do. Yeah,
when it's like, oh, this is what we always, so we're going to go and do it again.
Yep.
Yeah. I went just past weekend. I went to Prescott for their big holiday musical festival that they do.
Okay.
And I didn't take my kids, but I was thinking about it like, oh, if I had my kids here, they wouldn't like it. It would be, it would be like they're at the age like they want to hang out with their friends. They want to go and do a thing. And
they wouldn't like this whole hometown thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think like, what would because it would be me. We would be wandering around, but it's like me and my buddy just wandering around like, BSing to each other, just telling stories and stuff.
And they wouldn't care for that.
No. They're like, we want to, have fun. They want to be entertained. And I'm just, I don't know. When you're old, you entertain yourself.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and the kids, they need something or they crave their friends, I think. So anyway, thanks for the life lesson. We should have a graphic there of the life lesson. Life lesson. Maybe we'll think about that. We'll think about that. We'll have a life lesson section. We're figuring it out. All right. I got a life hack. The life hack is this. The life hack is I sent an email or a text to somebody and it was a sale that was being made. And they said they're going to respond to me the next day by 3 p.m. What do you think I texted back to them right away? You'll hear back from me tomorrow by 3 p.m. What did I text back?
Talk to you then.
Incorrect.
What?
You text nothing back. Nothing. You text nothing back because there's a deadline associated with it. And this is a life hack for salespeople. If you hear back that you're going to hear back tomorrow at 3 p.m., you wait till really close to 3 p.m. the next day, assuming you haven't heard from them. And then you write, sounds great. Or you like their text and that reminds them, oh, geez, I made this commitment that I was going to respond to them by 3 p.m. the next day. So life hack, we want to respond right away. But when it's a sale with a deadline and a commitment from the other party, don't say anything. Life hack.
Life hack.
Ba, ba, ba.
Yeah, all right. That sounds good.
It's good. It's really good. Yeah. So it works every time. And I did it. I'll tell you what, I did it Monday. So we booked something and they were supposed to hear back and I didn't hear back, right? So sounds good. I was out of town and then this is something I wrote. I wrote like they were waiting on me. I wrote, thanks for your patience, but I was waiting on them. It was just this total mind mess that I played on them and it worked. They were like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't, but I asked them for almost forgiveness for them delaying.
Yeah.
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Doesn't it? Yeah. Well,
I was like, oh, I was out of town. I was waiting on them, their commitment and their timeline. I go, oh, I was out of town with very little reception. Thanks for your patience. And they're like, oh my gosh, sorry. And they committed right away.
Gave you all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, I'm telling you, it works. So people want to reply right away, and it's a nonsense reply. So I just think in business, careful with the nonsense reply. Like we want to say, sounds good. Dun, 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 dun. But the commitment on the other side. Anyway.
That was, so I made a commitment to a gal. I'm like, hey, I will have this email over to you on Monday. And then there was so much I had to do for this listing appointment. I was trying to convince this gal that the first agent she spoke with did not know what she was talking about.
Right. That's tough.
And
that's tough. The problem is also, Ryan, is the other agent told her what she wanted to hear.
Yes.
And that's the worst part.
That is
that you're going against somebody who told wrong information, but it's what they wanted to hear. And now you're the reality check, and you're trying to not steal the sale, but you're trying to win the sale from them or win the client. And the client's already said, well, they said this. And you have to tell them that client, unfortunately, doesn't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we had the information that the other client provided, and we said, ooh,
I was like,
this is all wrong.
You can't do it the way
It's
right.
50% wrong. They overvalued the client's house, and they used homes that weren't in the neighborhood. And that's just a mess.
Yeah. But the gal was so excited because
that's what she wanted to hear.
She wanted to hear their house was worth.
Yeah. So
a lot more.
Everyone lives in a neighborhood, right? And then there's another neighborhood next to your neighborhood that's either nicer or not nicer, right? We have one on each side of us. Just the home values are way higher, home values are way less, and ours is right here. And so it would be like using the really nice home values on my home. Newer, I wouldn't say nicer, but you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It's using those values to value my house, and that is just not how anything works.
Yeah.
Not how anything works. Unless like going and looking at a Ford right next to a Lamborghini shop, and they're like, well, these cars are each $250,000. Mine must be, right? And you go, they're close, but no, that's not how anything works. So
and that's
it was tough.
Another thing you see Zillow too, where there's all these estimated values.
Yeah.
And you run into that often, or I'll see it, where it's the same thing, where Zillow doesn't the algorithm isn't, digging that deep. There's like, oh, these houses right around you.
Oh, yeah.
And so then you see.
Your Zillow can be wonky.
Completely
wonky.
Yes.
What's a place that you use Zillow? Where do you use Zillow looking at houses? Everyone's Zillows.
No, I don't.
You got a Zillow.
I because real estate's like the thing I do for life.
What are you saying?
I don't Zillow isn't like a fun retreat for me.
You don't look at like little mountain homes where you're going in Whitefish, Montana, or you don't do any of that?
I don't.
You're an anomaly.
I know.
I do houses, but I can't get over it. Anytime I travel anywhere, I get home, I read just voraciously about the things I looked at, the people who were there. I just went to Springfield, Illinois. I went back for a wedding. I just flew back for a wedding. And I get home and I'm like, I wonder.
Yeah.
I just wonder what the lifestyle is here. So I look at all the little towns. I look at what land you get. I look at, what's the nicest, most expensive house in Springfield. I look at, what.
That's fun.
What my money could get if I sold my house and relocated. What house would that get me? And you go, oh my gosh, I could have a mansion, right? But I don't know. I do that with everywhere I go. I did it when I went to San Francisco. Oh, I couldn't even.
Yeah.
Couldn't even rent a shoe. I don't know what yeah. You don't do that?
It's just not something
I keep pushing and asking like it's going to be a different answer.
I know,
no, I do. It's
you're
Sarasota. Yeah, I do all the time. Yeah.
No, that probably would be, I don't know why. I think I'm busy busy philosophizing.
Oh boy.
Spending, my brain is running on other stuff.
You don't mindlessly toggle like I do? All right. So I flew back to Springfield, Illinois, and on the flight was a crying baby. And I will tell you, there is nothing more annoying on an airplane than people complaining about a crying baby. I can't stand people who complain about a baby. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah. On a plane too, you're like, well, of course
it's just a baby. It's a baby. I don't know. I think people complaining is the worst sound on an airplane, not the baby. I will take a baby any day over somebody who can't control themselves as an adult. So, Oh, how about the coughing old guy? There's always a coughing old guy. He's just got a cough. It's almost like he's nervously breaking the silence.
I feel like airplanes are very loud spaces, though.
They're
like, pretty noisy.
Yeah. They're noisy, but yeah, there's always a guy who feels like he's got to let us hear him cough.
Let everybody know.
That guy, I would parachute out of there and let that baby just hang out. Might quiet the baby, but I don't care. All right. I went back to a family wedding. That was great, Ryan. I loved going back.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Got to see all of the... Do you have a really big family back home?
My dad's side's pretty big. So, yeah, he's one of 6, and we saw a lot of fam. Took the kids just a couple of days. My wife was sick. She got sick at the airport and ended up driving home. So she didn't go. So, yeah. But...
So 6... brothers and sisters your dad has. How many?
5 brothers and sisters.
5. And then how many cousins is that?
It's a lot. I couldn't do it right now, but it's a lot. Yeah. And not all the cousins. This was like my cousin's kid got married, so not all the cousins were there. And it's kind of the group has dwindled a tiny bit, but it was fantastic to take my kids and drive them around these I'm talking little towns, dude. They are 700 person towns, 2,000 person towns. And they just were like, wow. And I walked into the store. Subdivision. It's like our grade school has more 7th graders at it than the town has total people. It's just like great. It's so much fun. So I walked in. There's an old opera house in my dad's hometown, an old opera house where they used to have vaudeville shows and all this. And they just renovated this thing, just like we did with the comedy club. It's 1,700 square feet. I mean, it's floor to ceiling, the exact floor plan, everything that we did. And I talked to the owner and everything. And then she said, well, there's another. And I mean, this is just a depressed little downtown area that's been rejuvenated a little bit, right? They put some love into it, and it's a beautiful store, rooted home in Farmersville, Illinois, if you make it. But 2 doors down, they said, oh, there's this other lady, and she's selling a bunch of like antiques and stuff, and my daughter loves...
Oh, yeah.
Boutiques.
I love old
stuff.
I love old stuff.
We walk into this old garage, and it's just this lady sitting there with a clipboard at like an old, desk from a school. And she's just right in front of the door. And there's, just stuff you'd find in a farm garage. Really, it's nothing you want to take home on a plane with you. And we're like, ooh, you got to step in now. This lady's looking at us. So we stepped in, and the kids are looking around, and she, says, where are you from or whatever? And I said, well, I'm from Arizona, but my dad's from this town.
Right.
And my cousin's getting married. And she said, well, what's your last name? And I said, Specht. And she goes, oh, I know you. And this lady had been to our house like multiple times when I was a little kid.
Oh, yep.
And she knew who I was, knew who the wedding was, knew my dad, like knew all the whole entire family. And then we get back into the car. And I was like, that was pretty cool, huh, kids? And they're like, oh my God, you know everyone. Yeah. That's what they're convinced of. They think I know everybody here, but they're like this little garage in Illinois. You're like, you knew this lady.
Well, it's funny that you didn't know. She knew you.
She knew my whole family, but I had been a little kid. Like she'd been at our house. My dad used to have these. We used to have these parties where we'd watch Illinois basketball, right?
And the whole town would come.
Invite towns and family and all this stuff. And she had like been at that party.
Oh, that's fun.
So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recognize her, but I was one of the kids running around that house, and she was like, oh my gosh. So crazy small.
I felt like that. I went to the comedy club a couple of weekends ago.
Oh, yeah?
I took a buddy to the micdropmania comedy club.
micdropmania, Chandler, Arizona.
Downtown Chandler. And I brought my pal, and we go up to the door, and I get waved in, and he's like just surprised. He was so impressed that how everyone knew me.
Yeah.
But no, everyone treated me so good. They were so kind. And he was like, you're like the mayor of this place.
You're like the mayor of this place. That's what I say.
Feels so good.
That's what I say. Speaking of feeling good, what's something you did in 2023 that, you're pretty proud of? It's hard to think back on a whole year. It's hard to think back, and I know I'm springing that on you. But can you think of something this last year that was fun or?
Well, so for Arizona Adaptive Water Sports.
Yep.
This year I raised $21,000 for Depth Water Sports. So
That's great.
I was very proud.
You've done a wonderful job with that.
I'm very proud of that.
At the beginning of the year, you had your eyes set on a goal, and we talked last week that your group had achieved the goal.
Yeah, right? Yeah, get in the truck.
Get a truck.
Yes.
So you got a truck because you haul boats and
Yep,
people.
we haul a big old trailer full of equipment.
Oh, it's great.
And the good folks at Earnhardt Auto Center.
Oh,
in
no.
Chandler. Dude, yep.
Hey, you got to sponsor the show to throw that out there. Maybe they'll sponsor the show.
They
sponsor the non-profit. Just Earnhardt
Water Sports.
I feel like I need a truck.
They are great.
They're great. That's
so
not their
good.
slogan. That is not their slogan.
Big
horses.
That ain't no bull.
Small. Oh, that's it. Yep.
That ain't no bull.
That ain't no bull.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Our other sponsors, of course, are My City Lender. That's our beautiful studio here. micdropmania Comedy Club.
Yeah.
No Brainer and Spectacular Real Estate. I mean, you kidding me right now? What are you into right now? Do you have a show that you're watching right now? Because that's all I'm prepared to talk about. Oh, 2023. I know you raised a ton of money for your nonprofit and helped a lot of people. Yeah. I collected all my old He-Man toys.
Oh, that's fun.
That's what I did with it.
Oh, that's so I love hanging out in your office because of all. It is so nostalgic.
We should bring
toys.
I should bring one. As next week, we'll bring like a He-Man of the week. That's what we'll do. Little He-Man of the week. Fun. What his strength is, or her, and that'd be fun. That would be fun. Yeah, I collected all of them, and they remade them, so they look exactly like the ones when I was a kid, except their hips aren't broken.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they don't have that rubber band inside.
No rubber band.
So they can spin them. Like I used to just you spin it, and then you let them go, and they.
Yep. Now they just kind of independently swivel. So that's fun. That was my 2020. But I also run a nonprofit. We did a great job, and I just didn't think of what a nice, heartfelt thing you were going to say.
If I'd had a heads up, maybe I could have.
Yeah, that's not what this is.
Could have thought of something
silly.
Heads up.
No. You ever do like the in memoriam? You look at all the celebrities we've lost, and you go, "Oh man!" Like you can't think of a single one right now, and then you look at all of them, and you go, "Oh my gosh, Pee Wee Herman was this year," and it's like it's hard to look back on a whole year and think about that. So, all right.
Have you done in your phone where you scroll through and find dead people in your phone?
Ooh, you mean like text?
Yeah.
Well, texted with?
Well, no, it will just be like I'm going through my contacts for whatever it is, and I'm just always surprised. Like, I have
so-and-so's phone number.
Dead. It's just
weird. Not that many. No, I don't have that many. Okay. No.
I don't have a ton, but that's a place where I in memoriam. I guess.
Mine's like a Facebook deal where I go, when you make an event for Facebook and it says, click on everyone you want to invite, and you go, ooh.
Yeah.
There's a couple, that are in there, and you can't. I don't know if do you unfriend them?
The
Facebook?
Now that they've passed on to the.
Yeah, you just leave it, right?
Just leave it.
You got to leave it.
Yeah.
Because then there might be some archaeologist, digital archaeologist later on to go, let's tell this person's story,
It's very, well, I think what's interesting is that because of so much that we're creating right now is all digital, like the odds of it surviving in perpetuity, it's very slim. So
finding your actual digital, like your footprint's not going to matter?
Or like all of the digital is probably not going to survive the next whatever. When the archaeologists are looking back, there's going to be a big black box. A big mystery.
Yeah,
of what we're
because it'll be
on.
like if power goes out and everything gets dusted over.
Right. Yeah.
Poof.
So it's not. So in the past, like what'll they have? They'll have our trash they can look at, but they won't have a lot of like
digital will be gone, huh?
Yeah,
there'll be no cloud. There's no real cloud. It's that building and whatever that's now dusty, and a brontosaurus broke through it. And wow, yeah, so. maybe there. All right. Well, if you're looking to get back into the swing of things, Ryan, I've got a life hack. Yeah, I was a recruiter for a long time, and I used to tell somebody, if you're looking to like feel like $1 million, I call it $1 million makeover. Get yourself a haircut, wash your car, and get your clothes dry cleaned, and everything about you feels like $1 million. And you might have spent like $40. You can get a cheap haircut, wash your car, get your outfit back together, go touch the threshold of the gym, and you feel like $1 million. Anyway, I called that $1 million makeover, and it has helped a lot of people just perk up and feel good about themselves.
That makes sense.
And you spend about $40.
The haircut can be a bit, It's
Well, you got to
surprising
just,
how much.
we found a lady by our house. I don't want to say the brand because I don't want anyone to know about this, but it's a national brand. I'm not worried about them. It's one lady and it's desolate in there. No one goes in there. She knows us by name. I mean, at a chain.
Yeah.
She knows us by name. I mean, it's weird, but we go there and it's like $14 still. I mean, I know you could pay more. You could go somewhere fancy and local, but it's anyway.
Yep. I got a guy.
You do?
Yep. My barber, Matt, my barber.
Oh yeah, Matt's a good guy.
Yep.
Matt's a good guy. Speaking of Matt's a hot guy.
Matt is a hot guy.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about that. I wanted to play hot or not. I was just doing a transition. You want to play hot or not?
Hot or not.
Ding, 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 ding. Bing. All right. Hot or not, Ryan. You can't think about it, okay?
All right.
Hot or not. Here we go.
Let me take a drink before.
Okay, take a drink. Right. I already asked you how you gear back up. This is fun. This is fun talking to you today.
Okay. Here we go. Hot or not.
Did not.
It's fun talking to you, Dave.
Okay. There you go.
Love talking to David. This is so fun.
Hot or not, ladies and gentlemen, with Ryan Paul Johnson. Hot or not, fake grass.
Hot.
Hot. Good. All right. Hot or not, electric vehicles.
Hot.
Okay. Hot or not, sending holiday cards.
Ooh, hot.
Still hot?
Still
okay.
hot.
Hot or not, putting up your tree before Thanksgiving.
Not.
Ooh, judgmental. Hot or not, chestnuts by the fire.
Hot?
Those are hot. They're in fire,
Yeah,
Ryan.
they've got to be.
Those are, by nature, they're hot. Hot or not, eggnog.
Hot.
Hot. Hot or not. Those lights that you like stab into the ground and they just project onto your house.
Not.
Not. And that's how you play hot or not.
Not hot. Yeah. I know. Those things I'm worried that they're going to interfere with air traffic.
Is that your worry?
Well, I
not
mean,
how lazy that is?
Well, I don't know.
Not that person coming back in the house like, oh, I just spent all afternoon decorating for Christmas and you never even know it. Our house is aglow with this one little projector in your yard. I don't know. I just know. It's not to judge. Who cares? Who cares?
I imagine if you point those up in the sky.
Yeah, it could definitely. Yeah. That's a valid concern. I'd say spend your time on that for sure. What do you have any? Definitely spend your time on that. You go, okay, knock. Got a bone to pick with you. Your lights might be affecting air travel. Not to worry. Not to worry.
Yep.
Do you have any advice that you would give to somebody who's new to comedy that would also relate to somebody who's new in real estate?
New to comedy, new to real estate. Do you have advice?
Do I have advice to somebody? I did today. I gave somebody good advice today. They're not new to it, but they're new to trying to get booked. And I gave them the nuance of all the stuff that happens off stage. More like show business has the word business in it. So it's not show, it's show business. So being an approachable, person that gets along with people off stage, you've got to cultivate the relationships off stage, basically. And I'll tell you what, I've had somebody come into the club, talented, and they, for some reason, and this was true in recruiting, didn't treat what they perceive as little people very well. So they didn't treat the DJ well, or they didn't treat the chef well, or they didn't treat, who was at the door, who happened to also be the general freaking manager, So when I was in recruiting and I had an interview set up, I'd have the person, they'd come in, they fill out the paperwork and they go in the interview room and then I would come in. But before I came in, I would always stop at the front desk and talk to the receptionist. And I would say, how did they treat you?
Yeah.
And they'd say, really nice, or kind of a jerk. And it was over before it started.
Was it? Oh my gosh.
It was over before it started.
Yeah.
So this particular person has possibly had a little bit of a bad interaction with, what they perceived as somebody who may not be of any significance, right?
Right.
But somebody that I value very, very much. So anyway, that's my advice to somebody who's new in comedy. And plus, do it a bunch.
Right.
Do it a bunch.
Yeah.
Be undeniably funny. Try to appeal to as many people as possible.
Yep.
As many people as possible. Don't try to find your niche. Don't try to create your niche. Don't try to think about who you want to make laugh, and don't worry about trying to make other comics laugh. Try to be a broad, undeniably funny person.
Yeah, I'm listening to Leslie Jones's book right now. She talks about that.
She does?
Like, you're not better than the process.
That,
no one.
Oh, she went through the process
Yes.
too.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
went through the process.
Like, no one is better. You're not better than stand-up. You're not better than this art. There's only one way to do it. You gotta
grind it, man. And she
gotta do the work.
She didn't get on Saturday Night Live until she was in her 50s.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You know? And she worked and worked. And yeah, that sounds like a good book.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So your advice would be read Leslie Jones's book?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And Maria Bamford's book. Reading that too.
Oh, really? There you go.
Yeah, both very funny women.
I like that.
With fun perspectives.
I love it, buddy. Okay.
When you said getting into real estate, are you talking about someone who's getting into working in real estate?
Correct. Yeah, that's a good follow-up question.
Or
good
if it was just like gonna buy a thing.
No, somebody who's getting started.
Getting started trying to do the business. Mm-hmm. Yeah. With that too, it's just start making phone calls. I mean, that's really, it's like you need to.
It makes me nervous, Ryan.
You need to launch your business in a way that makes people confident in your future ability. Because most people, when you get into real estate, you're brand new and everyone you know knows you're brand new. And so you're probably not going to get business from friends because they think you're new and not good at it, all these things, you know? So
do you think it matters? Do you think it matters what you did before real estate? You know, because I felt like I had a very similar to real estate, you know, career.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I sensed that nervousness with people because our first deal was the guy who knew me.
Right. Yeah. But so within this circle, that's why I tell people that if you're getting into real estate and you're new, you should join a team because everyone knows you're new. And so if it's just you, then it's like, oh, they're new. But if you're on a team, then you're able to point back to like, hey, I know I'm new, but look, they aren't new.
The team has got my back and they have 20 plus years of experience.
Yep. Yeah,
so somebody new to real estate can trust, you know, even a new agent or somebody, you know, looking for a deal. Somebody looking to buy a house can trust a new agent as long as they're backed by experienced agents.
I believe that 100%.
Hey, I think that's a great nugget, my friend.
I think that's 100% true.
Life lesson, life hack.
Life lesson.
All right, Ryan, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you had some fun. And I love being here at My City Lender. The studio is fantastic. Our producers are Brian and Jay. We love having you guys as part of the team. Jay Erickson and Brian Iverson, they actually have the Jay and Brian show. You should check it out if you'd like to see it. But appreciate our sponsors, micdropmaniacomedyclub, Comedy Club, My City Lender, and Spectacular Real Estate.
Yes, thank you all to our sponsors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And ladies and gentlemen, we are the Spectacular Show. And until next time,
be spectacular.
Be spectacular. Did you do it there?
I did that one.
How would we do that?
Let's do this one here.
Okay, hold on. Let's redo that. Okay. It was a fun ending, but this is all part of it. Okay. All right. You know, this has been the Spectacular Show. And until next time, be spectacular.